Hello, my name is Ben Townsend with Tracker Products, and in this presentation on case level permissions, we're going to overview exactly what a case level permission is and how we enable it within the system. To start out with, let's first define what a case level permission is. Case level permissions allow org admins to assign more granular permissions to users or groups at the case level. One of the main things to keep in mind is that by default in your system, permissions are designed to work at the system level. Case level permissions allow you to bring it down to an individual case level. Let's start out with some really basic overviews of permissions within the system. First thing we're going to do is go to settings over here on the left, and we have permission groups. So permission groups are the types of people that are able to log into the system. So when you have a user and you assign them the ability to be a power user, that grants them all the abilities within the power user group, and on and on. Now when we go into user administration, we're going to see a list of users within the software, but more importantly, let's focus on this permission group column. This is ultimately what decides what they're able to accomplish when they do log into the system. So my account, as seen right here, I'm an org admin. I can do everything. However, this account that I have right below it, my Gmail account, I am a read-only user within the software. So in order to begin using case level permissions, you first need to turn it on. To do that, go to the settings option, organization, and then scroll down that screen until you get down near the bottom, and you're going to see an option of use case level permissions. You're going to edit, turn that on, and save it. At this point, you can start using case level permissions. So in my first use case scenario, I'm going to show you what it looks like to block a single case from every user in the system. So I've logged into my site here as my read-only account, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to bring up a case that I have recently viewed, 20-0130. And you'll notice when I click on the case, it brings up the case with all of the properties showing inside that case. And I can sit here and scroll through all the tabs and see the types of items. But let's enable case level permissions and see what that looks like when we do so. So I'm going to log back in as my standard user, my org admin, and I'm going to bring up that same case. Let me go into my proper org here. I'm going to go in and I'm going to bring up that same case, 20-0130, and you'll notice there's a tab over here at the end for permissions. This is where you enable case level permissions. I'm going to edit those case level permissions and turn that on. And I'm not going to set any other values, and it says right here, as soon as you click save, that case has now been locked for every user except org admins, because keep in mind, you cannot block an org admin out from access to the system. So when I log back in again as my Ben Townsend user here, we're going to go into that case and watch what happens now. I'm going to get a forbidden access denied, because again, that case has been blocked for every type of user except my org admins. So now we want to move on to scenario 2, and this is where we're going to extend the permissions to the case. We don't want to block it for all org admins. Now we want to start adding other users that have access to this case besides org admins. And one other feature I want to bring up under settings is user groups. This is where you have the ability to go in and say, I want to create a new group of users, and let's create a group called security group. Okay, and so we're going to create this group, and now that we've created the security group, we can go into user admin and start putting people into those groups. So I'm going to go into user admin, and let's just say that this person, and this person are all a member of that security group. So I'm going to go up here and say I want to add them into the group. I'm going to put them in the security group. And so now we've created the security group. Let's now go back to that case that we were looking at earlier that is indeed still blocked, and now by enabling some of these options down at the bottom, we can extend permissions from just org admins to now we can say, you know what, I've got a user in the system, I want to give this guy power user, and I'm also going to give my security group power user access. Or maybe you want to make it a basic user, and you could say, you know, this guy right here, if I can find another user in the system here, this user here is going to be a basic user. So again, keep in mind, I've blocked the case for everybody except org admins and these users and groups down at the bottom. And so by extending out these permissions, you're giving more people access to this case versus just the org admins. Well, that does it. I hope you enjoyed the presentation on case level permissions, and I hope you have a better understanding of how you can use case level permissions to give your system far more granular control over what cases or matters or incidents that users will have access to. Thank you.